sponsored by Elgato, who created this lovely Stream Deck. For more information about the Stream Deck, the link is in the description below.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the first round of the AOR Hyper Energy Season 18 Formula 4 League here on the PC. We're here in Australia to start out a new, exciting season. We'll be having 21 races spanning from here down under via the Middle East and Europe, finishing off in 25 weeks in Abu Dhabi. The drivers will be eager to get going for the first qualifying session, but before that, we'll have a quick look at the tyres and the circuit. The tyres today and all season will be the soft, medium and hard, and for today they'll be the C2, C3 and C4 compounds. And in the event of some rain, the tyres for that will as always be the intermediates and full wets. Now for a look at the track in Melbourne. The track is 5.3 kilometers or 3.3 miles long, has 16 corners, 6 to the left, 10 to the right, and 3 DRS zones, making it very good for overtaking. And before we get into the qualifying, here's a lap around the circuit driven by Massa on the old Formula 1 game and commentated by Jess.
Hello and welcome along to our very first AOR hot lap on the new F1 2018 game around Albert Park. And taking us through a lap on the track today is our very own Marcel Kiefer, representing Force India in the F1 Esports Championships. Now he's just about to start his lap on the start-finish straight, going into 8th gear, going around the first corner, goes to turn 1, hits the brakes at a very different pace. He's staying in the inside zone just as he goes to the DRS straight, a better run, going into turn 2 and 3, full power again, and braking just as he gets to the Hummer meter board, and dropping it down to 3rd gear to maximize momentum and rotate the car. It easy. Going into turn 4, in 6th gear as he goes through turn 5, going all out here with the power, especially as these cars is definitely really faster in this game than F1 2017. He chose to stay in 7th gear there, but Poppy goes to 8th gear, just he started sector 2, clipping the corner there. He's good, very good speed going through turn 9 before the sweeping stage of turn 8. He gets the braking absolutely right here through this long straight, and again chooses to go to 7th gear to make sure he gets the momentum here. Absolutely fast car, absolutely very good engine around here. Getting that corner absolutely right is definitely crucial around Albert Park. Just going through the DRS straight, a very common move for overtaking. You get that move absolutely right, and it is very good moves going through here. He's going through the penultimate.
Right, we'll have unfortunately been forced to abandon looking at that hot lap. We're very sorry for the lagging in there. It seems that there is some encoder overload on my computer and it's having trouble running that, but let's see if it will work getting into the F1 action here for this season. So let's see if I just click on the right things, and if we jump into the game, let's see, will that run without too much lag? I think it will, or maybe it will not. But as you hopefully can see, it is a wet qualifying on the intermediate tyres, which is interesting because it is now for the first race, for the first qualifying, they'll be starting on fresh tyres, which will be quite an interesting start. So what do you think this season and this first race will bring us in terms of racing with these drivers?
Yeah, maybe let's start with introducing ourselves, of course, before we go further. I am Julio, you are Jens, and we are, of course, in Melbourne, Australia. I think we forgot about that with all the mess that happened, but coming back to your question, of course, we we will have a really, really exciting season, and I just can't wait for it to get going. We have really quick drivers. This is F4 here, so the fourth fastest. But well, I'll put it that way. These guys are just a tiny bit from the absolute top of race of Formula One team racing. This is esports racing, maybe. This is how would I put it? Uh, uh, how would I put it? Of course, we have a wet quality, actually intermediate quality, because well, well, they are using just intermediate, but it of course changes the whole race strategy. And well, let's just hope that this race will be exciting. Right now we have 9 drivers that have set their lap times. Obi-Wan Kenobi is the fastest one right now. 1:33 is fastest lap time. Second is now for Zoran, who has just set his lap time. He is just 1/10 slower than Obi-Wan Kenobi. Third place belongs to Jeff K. Fourth is Evil Kiwi. Fourth is, and it has changed because Ken Balash, or whatever is the right pronunciation of this Hungarian name, what goes to top. And ARC Ripson is the fastest one. Uh, what do you think, Jens, is the pole time that what will be the pole time that we'll see today?
Ooh, that is a great question because the track will be drying up a bit on the racing line where these drivers are driving, and the rain is not showing any signs of stopping anytime soon. So it will probably go to the end, but as I said, that racing line will be drier towards the end, so that will produce a bit more grip. So maybe we'll dip into the 132s, maybe a mid 32, high 32, something around there.
What I can add to that is that the fastest ever lap on this circuit was driven by Lewis Hamilton in this year's Q3. 1 minute 20 seconds point 486 was the lap time that Lewis did. That's of course not going to happen today. We know that some of the fastest drivers in the world are better than this time, but oh, and when I say, as I said that, ARC Ripson is the first casualty of this season. I would say it this way because he spins coming out of turn 14. This is a really quick corner, but when you clip the gravel on the exit, you are a passenger, especially in these conditions. But he is the fastest right now, 1 minute 33.2. The mid 32s, well, as you've said, they seem to be a reasonable lap time right now. Remember, of course, the strategy for this qualifying session is completely different. Shad goes into second place right now, just 300ths of a second behind ARC Ripson. That's a really, really close session right now. But as I've said, the and Grzegorz is now the fastest with a lap time just some 23 thousandths of a second faster than Ripson. But what I was trying to say that the strategy for this session is completely different than to the normal strategy. They are going on a bit longer stints. They are not going for just one flying lap. They are going for two, maybe three flying laps in a row. So they can really push and find the limits because this is ultimately uh, the the most important thing in the wet.
Yeah, and something that is just proving that is that Richard B has just set the fastest lap in this qualifying session and goes on to provisional pole on 3 laps old intermediate tyres with a 1:32.691, which is just showing that these tyres you might not just want to come out for 1 or 2 laps. you should maybe be pushing for 3, maybe 4 to get them up to ultimate temperature and ultimate fighting range. And that's also important then, thinking how much fuel do I get to make these laps, and how do I manage my ERS during these laps.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Selig, the Haas driver, has left the session, unfortunately. I hope he will come back to us. We only have 18 drivers today. Jezza and SKR Peter are the guys who won't race today. They are away, but we hope they will return. I have a feeling that the rain is passing. I don't know how about you, but it definitely is raining lighter than it used to be.
Yeah, it is seeming to clear up, but I don't think we'll see anyone dare it on soft tires or anything like that. But you never know. Someone could be thinking, "Hey, let's go out and dries and see what we can do." Because as it
And
dries
uh,
up, some drivers might take the risk. Some of the slower ones may think that it'll they can capitalize off that, going on some slick tires and then setting what will then ultimately be the fastest lap if they can get a clean lap on.
yeah, sorry for interrupting you before, but Ripson has just made another mistake, another spin, and he again has hit the wall, again without major damage apart from the front wing damage, but he is still going, he is still in third place, but it just shows how slippery it is. This time he slid out of turn 2, but as we've said, it's really, really tricky out there, and they are finding the rhythm, so there are some crashes, there are going to be some crashes, I believe. Right now, as you've said before about Richie B, we have a Red Bull 1-2, just some 6.5 minutes before the end of the session, but I am looking at Kevin Ballas. Well, Krusix has just went fastest, and Kevin has just put it the third time of the session. Fourth place belongs to Zoran. So as you can see, the lap times are improving. One thing about this circuit is turn 11 and 12 chicane. This is probably the most tricky place out on this circuit. I don't know how you feel about it, but I've seen many crashes out there today, and I think this is a crucial place on this circuit.
Yeah, that 11-12 chicane, it's so high speed, so if you just misjudge your braking point into turn 11, because it is basically a straight from the chicane 9-10, as we're seeing Kevin go through here. As you come down to turn 11, if you just misjudge your braking, you are risking that you're going straight ahead into the grass, because if you don't get if you come in too fast into that, you just can't get the turning into 12, and then you don't have any grip, or you understeer and go into the gravel, and ultimately with the speed you're carrying you will end up in the wall in most cases.
Yes, exactly. I'm trying not to lie, but I've seen some races where 6 people out of 17, 18 people that started this race. Meanwhile, Kevin goes fastest 132.2, and I think we are not having any rain right now. The question is how quickly will the track dry up? But as I've said earlier, coming back to my previous thought, I've seen the races that in which 12 drivers even had problems in that chicane. So watch out for that during the race. And right now, as I've said, it's really drying up. And we can see Kevin Balaj, the fastest one right now, 132.2. Second place belongs to Jeff Kane, 132.5. Third place, Krusix in a Renault, 132.522, just 15 thousandths off the second place. Fourth place belongs, unlike in the real Formula One, where they basically end up in the final row of the grid, showed from Poland. So you can say that maybe some sort of difference from what Robert Kubica does uh, in Formula One. This time shows us in fourth place. Richie B in fifth place. He starts his probably final stint right now. Levy in P6, Zoran in P7, Nutternutz in P8, Grzegorz in P9, and ARC Ripson in P10. The this is how the field looks right now. Of course, the times, well, the field is a little bit spread out in times because, well, it's raining and the grip levels are really, really different.
Yeah, and talking about the grip levels and talking about maybe going on some slick tires. I've seen the graphics flicker a bit on Soren and playing a bit with going on soft tires, and with around 2.5 minutes left of this session, it could be that he will be trying right at the end to get a lap in on the soft tires. It will be a bold move to pull off, because I don't think that racing line is dry enough yet, but you know, if enough drivers go out there and warm the circuit up a bit, it could be an interesting thing. Maybe other drivers are thinking of doing the same as Soren.
Well, but they have to hurry up. Shav goes into seventh place, just ahead of Zora, and that's 45 thousandths faster. Selig has just came back to the lobby, so he should start the race. Someone is leaving the pits. I think one of the Haas guys has left the pit lane. That should be Jeff Kane. One of the Alfa Romeo guys have left the pit lane as well. That's actually Zoran, but he is on the intermediate tires. I think it's too early to go
Yeah.
out on the slick tires, and one of the Williams guys, that's Evil Kiwi, has crashed into Zoran, who came out of the pit lane. I think no major damage was done here, but well, it is really, really tricky out there. It just shows how tricky it is out there. Selig has left the lobby again, so well, there are. It seems like he maybe won't start the race. Evil Kiwi is just understeering on the circuit. Maybe some damage is done to his front wing, but it just shows how tricky it is in these conditions.
Yeah, I think Soren escaped from that quite lucky. Um, it, I don't see any damage to his front wing, and he's going quite fast on this out lap. With 45 seconds to go, the drivers are lining up to get that final mad dash, as some call it, to see what the fastest time will be and who will get pole position, as it looks like he's slowed down a bit to let a couple of guys through. But let's keep an eye on Kane here, as he is starting his flying lap right now, currently in provisional second place. If we just ride on board with him here, coming down to turn 3, you see the sun is just beginning to peek out in the sky here through turn 3 and 2-4. Very tricky and hard to know
I'm
when.
sorry to interrupt, but we have a spinning Mercedes out of turn two. It just stopped on the outside of turn two. Very, very dangerous place to stop. I'm sorry to interrupt you. Also, ARC Volsteppen was having really big problems out on the track, but he left the gravel trap, so he is doing fine. And you can come back before Blue 24 does a half spin going out of turn 12. That's the first guy to do so.
Yeah, and we see Shad retiring from the session. I don't think he'll be trying to do anything more. And we see Kevin stayed in the pits, but still Kane in provisional second place. He's doing quite okay with his times. He's trying to challenge for that pole position, but on 0 laps old intermediate tires, it is quite hard, because the temperature might not be up there yet. And we'll see Gresham get in third place there. Will Kane be able to improve enough to get pole position as he comes across the line?
No!
Oh, he is 6 thousandths off pole time there.
And
But
Rocky
Rocky does it. Fastest time 1:32.122. Will anyone else be able to do it? Oh,
crashed out of the turn 16, and Levy goes into 7. We are just waiting for Evil Kiwi, but he has well, and he and Obi-Wan Kenobi have stopped all have decided to abort their fast laps. But wow, what an ending of the qualifying session.
yeah.
Rocky does it, as you've said. P1 for him, 1/10 ahead of Kevin Balash, who is just 7 thousandths of a second ahead of Jet K.
Yeah, and we saw that McLaren just spin out of the final corner. You saw it in the background. He could maybe have improved, but he starts 11th, and for some people that might be quite good, thinking that you can then start on fresh tires compared to the top 10. But as this qualifying session have been on wet tires, the whole grid will start on fresh slick tires if it's slick conditions to go in on. And in just a second we'll be able to see the final classifications if
we won't, because we've been oh no,
what has happened?
You've been kicked out of the lobby.
Oh, that's not good.
It's really bad, I'm afraid.
Yes, that is quite bad.
It's quite bad. But can I invite you? I can. Oh, sure.
Ooh, I think, yeah, I disconnected. Ooh, that's bad.
It's really bad.
Yeah, let's see if you can invite me back in.
I can, because I can't invite anyone.
Oh, let's see if I can use your old invite for that. And while we try figuring that out, no, I can't get back in.
Uh-oh.
That's bad.
It's really bad.
Yeah.
Huh. So is that it?
I think that might bring a shocking close to this.
So
we after that exciting, yeah, after that exciting qualifying, it seems that we won't be able to stream the race due to technical issues.
Does anyone have has anyone invited you on Steam?
No, I'm afraid not.
That just is really, really bad, because I can't invite. Oh my goodness.
Well,
well,
we are very sorry to report that we will be ending the stream early with no race.
I promise it has never happened to me. So
well, I mean, it's first for me as well. Yeah, we are very sorry for that. We will hopefully be back next week to stream both qualifying and the race. But we will unfortunately be missing the first round.
Maybe. Let's just stick to sort of radio, like.
Oh yeah, you can do it in the radio.
In the race. So let's just try and do the qualifying in sort of TV mode and the race in the radio mode. This is the best we can.
Yep. Then I will mute myself and let you take the start.
No,
when that's.
You don't really have to mute, but you can, I don't know, maybe find something to show to our viewers. I don't know. Maybe.
No, I think your audio disappeared there.
Oh my god.
Oh no, you're back again. You're back.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's good. So as I've said, we are in a radio-like transmission, in a radio-like broadcast. I hope it won't go too bad. I am a little bit afraid because, well, almost 50 minutes of constant speaking in the radio broadcast. This is going to be really, really hard. I hope that you won't be too it won't it will I hope it will goes well. Maybe let's put it that way. So the drivers have now lined up on the grid. Let's just hope that the TV man just gives us the great camera. 5 lights, and away we go for the first race, AOR F4 Season 18, and it's a great start from Rocky, who leads into the first corner. What happened to Kevin, who just has, well, he has just lagged a bit because he's just now behind Jeff Kane, and he's already ahead of him. There's a big group going into turn two, maybe, hopefully, without collisions. And yes, they have all gone almost cleanly. Something happened to Nuts and Nuts in McLaren. JSR has left the lobby. What has happened there as well? I think the lobby is a bit unstable, but maybe it's too early to say that. Rocky leads, second place to for Jeff Kane. Richie B been has moved into P3. Fourth place belongs to Schultes. Fifth for Krusik. Sixth Levy. Seventh Kevin Balash, who has a lot of problems lagging McLaren. That is notes and notes in P8, but he is lagging horribly. P8 for Shab. And well, I just can't keep up with it because so much is going on. Kevin, meanwhile, is fighting with someone. Someone went spinning, but that's just the lagging McLaren. Kevin Balash is just behind his teammate Levy. They are fighting for sixth place. Actually, they are fighting for fifth place because Krusix is just half a second ahead of them, and 1 second ahead of Krusix is Schultes, who is just, well, half a second behind Richie B, who is half a second behind Jeff Kane, and it's just that Rocky is, well, 1.5 seconds ahead. We start lap 2 of the race, and it sort of has settled down. Maybe not everyone is going wheel to wheel, but we have Zoran attacking ARC Ripson into turn 3, round the outside. It is an inside into turn 4, and Zoran spins, gets collected by Grzesiu, who will be really furious about it, loses half of his front wing, and that's just race done for the Red Bull driver. JSR, as we've said earlier, he is out of the session as well. Can we? Yes, he is out of the session. Maybe he will return. Meanwhile, Shad attacks the McLaren drivers. I've seen a front wing part flying onto the circuit, and well, it sort of has been now more. It has been a little bit more, let's say, it's a little bit more, and I've lost the word. I'm sorry for that, but let's go back to the front because Jeff Kane is just a second behind Rocky, so he is a little bit quicker than the leader of this race. Third place belongs to Richie B as we start third lap of the race. Fourth place belongs to Schultes, and fifth place belongs to Krusix, but Levy is really eager to take his place. I think Krusix maybe have some damage to his front wing. Yes, indeed. So that's why we have two groups instead of one big group fighting for P2. Meanwhile, Schultes is really close behind Richie B. It's maybe 3 tenths between them. And let's see how it goes behind. Obi-Wan Kenobi has overtaken Selig, but that's just because Selig is out of this race again. Does JSR? Did JSR come back? No. Zoran is in P16. Shad in P17. He is also with us, and AOR Grzesiu is in P18. As JSR tells me, his game has just crashed. Well, I don't know why that happened. I can't invite you because, well, as he wants me to invite him, and I just can't do that. Well, let's go back to what is going on right now because we have a Group fighting for P2. Jeff Kane, who has DRS from Rocky, the leader. Lap 4 is just starting right now. Richie B in P3 and Shoulders in P4. Let's see if the battle continues just in a minute. But, you know, something really bad happened.
Have you been kicked out as well?
No, I haven't been kicked out, but I just had to tell JSR that I can't invite anyone into this lobby, and we have a really, really big problem with it. But let's go back to this race because, well, Rocky, of course, Richie B is in P3, but Rocky is leading, but only uh, just 7 tenths between him and Jeff Kane. Third place belongs to Richie B, and fourth place belongs to Schultz. This is the big group fighting for P1 act, basically. 2.5 seconds behind, it's Krusix Levy and Kevin Balash. They are fighting for P5, of course. Remember that Krusix is having a wing damage, and meanwhile, Schultz round the outside into turn 14 gets pushed a little bit wide and can attack Richie B. Yellow flag in sector 3. What happened there? And that's Kevin Balash, who has been spun probably by his teammate. He hits the wall and has lost almost half of his front wing. But let's go back to the leading pack because, well, they are fighting for life. You can really say something like that. Meanwhile, Levy will try an attack on Krusix. Not yet. Kevin Balash has come into the pit lane because of his earlier spin. Let's talk about strategy a bit because, well, top 7 right now: Rocky, Kane, Richie B, Schultes, Krusix, Levy, and Nutter Nuts. They are all on soft tires. ARC Ripson has started this race on a hard tire. Evil Kiwi in P9 on a soft. Then ARC Volsteppen on a hard tire. So let's say that Ferrari drivers are approaching this race different to in a different way to anyone else. In P11, OV1 Kenobi on a medium tire. Then Zoran, JSR, and Salikan on softs. And well, Shad has been already in the pit lane. He is on hards. Kevin Balash has put a new set of mediums, and Grzegorz and Blue 24, they are all on hard tires. Right now, Shoulders has lost some pace compared to the top 3: Rocky B, Jeff Kane, and Richie B. They are all covered by just over half a second. Yes, top 3 covered by just over half a second. So let's start the lap 6 of this race right now. DRS wide open in the house of Jeff Kane. Will he try attacking Rocky into turn 1? Yes, he is. Down the inside into turn 1, but he goes really wide, loses a lot of time. Yellow flag in sector 1 is being put out, and basically Schultes has lost so much time because of Jeff Kane's, well, let's say a little bit unsafe rejoin to the track. But what that means is that we only have top two right now fighting, covered by half a second. Rocky still leads after that, well, really bad attack by Jeff Kane. Richie B in P2. Jeff Kane has lost more than a second to that top 2. Schultz is in P4, but Schultz, well, he has lost a little bit of pace after attacking Richie B and getting driven a little bit wider. Let's see what happens behind right now. Krusix, Levy, and Nutter Nuts, they are fighting for P5. Evil Kiwi is in lonely P8, and 2 Ferraris are catching him. Let's go back to Richie B because, well, he was on that third DRS straight down into turn 14, but he hasn't overtaken Rocky. But on this at the same time, he has made up a lot of time on the Toro Rosso driver. Let's just say that Rocky is a Toro Rosso driver and Richie B is a Red Bull driver. Richie B shows himself in the mirrors of Rocky, but doesn't attack his rival. But DRS wide open into turn 3. Lap 7. Will Richie B try another attack? No, he doesn't. But maybe later on. Meanwhile, Jeff Kane and Schultes, they are fighting for P3 right now. I can't believe it, but half a second between them right now. P5 belongs to Levy still. Krusix, well, not still, because Levy has, of course, attacked Crucix. That's what I have missed because of the fight between Richie B and Rocky. I have a feeling that Richie B is faster than Rocky, but he really can't overtake the Toro Rosso driver. But coming back to the group fighting for P5, Levy is some 8 tenths ahead of Crucix, has just fallen back into the clutches of Nuts and Nuts. But let's go back to Richie B because he has DRS wide open. He will try and attack round the outside into turn 14, and he takes the lead of the race. But maybe Rocky will try fighting back into turn 15. He is on the inside, but he doesn't quite make it stick. But he will have the DRS going into turn 1. Lap 7 has just finished. We will start lap 8 shortly, but DRS wide open in that Toro Rosso right now. Rocky, who has been leading for the whole race, is now down into second place. But he will have the DRS going into turn 3. Nutzer Nut, meanwhile, the guy who crashed at the end of the quali is now up into P6, having overtaken Crucix, who we've said that has a lot of problems with his front wing. He doesn't have the right right end plate of that front wing. Meanwhile, Richie B is now leading this race ahead of Rocky. Jeff Kane is still in that third place ahead of Schultes. In fourth place, then we have Levy, and Nutzer Nuts is in P6. Well, Levy, we can say that he is in P5, quite a lonely P5 at the moment, but maybe the McLaren driver behind him will catch up. Well, he had a big moment coming out of turn 10, but nothing happened there. Evil Kiwi will be the next one who will maybe catch Crucix, but before that happens, Evil Kiwi gets a 3-second time penalty, by the way, but ARC Ripson has just caught up to Evil Kiwi. Let's go back to the strategy. Well, because all the top 8 right now is on soft tires, 8-lap-old soft tires, that the tire they have started on, and Ripson and Verstappen, the Ferrari team that have started on that are right now in P9 and P10 have started on hard tires, and Crucix is the first one who, well, not the first one in this race, but the first one from this group to pit. Lap 8, really, he is changing his front wing. He is going onto hard tire and probably going to the end of the race. Meanwhile, let's see what is going on ahead, because Rocky has lost pace, and Jeff Kane was attacking him, but he couldn't make it stick again. He went really wide in turn 5, and Schultes is all over the back of him right now. Rocky, Kane, and Schultes, they are all fighting for P2. Levy in P4, meanwhile, is just 1.1 seconds behind, so he is catching up to that group. We can say that about Nutzer Nuts, who has lost now 5 seconds to them. But meanwhile, ARC Ripson and ARC Verstappen, two Ferrari drivers, have caught up to Evil Kiwi. They will have the DRS right now. But let's go back to Jeff Kane, because there was a collision. Jeff Kane is facing entirely the wrong way. Schultes has hit him, no, he hasn't lost part of his front wing, but Levy wasn't that lucky. He hit Jeff Kane and has lost his left end plate. He will have to change it. Meanwhile, Richie B, and these are mediums, so Richie B has changed onto hard tires. Meanwhile, Rocky is on a medium, and can we? What do you think? Are they going? I mean, Richie B is going to the end of the race, surely. But is Rocky going to make another stop, or will he nurse his tires and finish the race on them? Another driver in the pit lane, that's Jeff Kane, of course. After that spin, he is on the mediums as well. Will he finish on those mediums or not? I'm still really, really curious. Meanwhile, Schultes, he has navigated his way through that collision, through the around spinning Jeff Kane, and now the Polish Williams driver, and it's not Robert Kubica, it is Schultes, is leading the race right now, 2 seconds ahead of Levy. But remember that Levy has lost half of his front wing in that collision with Jeff Kane. It's just that he hasn't stopped. Meanwhile, third place belongs to Nutzer Nutz, and fourth place to ARC Ripson, who has overtaken Evil Kiwi. And ARC Ripson and ARC Volsteppen, they are going really, really long into that race. Schultes has pitted. Will he slow down in time? Yes, he has. Levy also has pitted, and Nutzer Nutz, will he slow down in time? Yes, he will. So those three drivers and Evil Kiwi as well, they all have pitted, and Zoran as well. Let's see what tires are putting. It's Williams crew putting, and these are hard tires. Richie B has overtaken Schultes. Will Rocky do the same? Yes, he has. Meanwhile, JSR is in P6, but it's of course his bot. So or maybe his AR. I mean, bot doesn't really uh, exist in English language. It just exists in Polish language. If you are really curious why I use that word, it's JSR's AI car in P6, but he won't be classified in that race. So Schultes really is up in P6 on those hard tires. Meanwhile, Selig is in P8, but Selig also is an AI car. Nutzer Nutz is in P9 right now on a new set of mediums. Shad in P10 on 8 lap old set of hard tires. Meanwhile, Schultes has overtaken that AI car. Who else is out on track? Well, Evil Kiwi and Levy, they both have put on mediums, and crucially, both Evil Kiwi and Levy are ahead of Jeff Kane. Meanwhile, Shad has got a time penalty, a 3-second time penalty, and Nutzer has overtaken the AI car of Selig. But remember that we have oh, what do we have? Shad we have behind him. So right now, ARC Ripson is the race leader on 11 lap old hard tires. We have just started lap 12 if you're curious. Obi-Wan Kenobi is in P2 on 11 lap old mediums. Then, and that's ALC Volsteppen completely missing his braking spot, and he has flown into the gravel trap. He is losing so many places. When I was just going to say that he was in third place. Right now he is in fifth place, but he will surely lose that fifth place to Schultes, who is surely going to the end of this race on a new set of hard tires. And will he overtake ARC Volsteppen right now into turn now or not yet? I think it's not going to happen yet, of course. Now let's go back to what's going on. No, this is the most important fight right now. Evil Kiwi has overtaken Selig's AI car, but that really doesn't matter. Selig has again left the lobby. I think that's because he can't really drive his car. And right now, Schultes will overtake ARC Volsteppen down the inside into turn 14. Maybe the Ferrari driver will try to fight back into turn 15, but it won't happen. And the Polish Williams driver is in a net third place right now. This is a really good beginning of the season for that team, of course. And let's go back to the top because Rocky is 1.9 seconds behind Richie B. But remember what I said earlier. I'm not convinced that Rocky will finish the race on these medium tires. I think he will have to stop again. So he is really put in quite a bad position, really. ARC Volsteppen, he is now 4 tenths behind Schultes. He has lost some time now. He had DRS, so he could gain some time on the Williams driver, but right now he is back without the DRS and he is losing a lot of time. In P7, Nutzer Nutz on those medium tires, he will probably pit again. Krusix in P8, he is going long till the end of the race. Shad on a 10 laps old set of hard tires. That's because he was involved in some collision at the beginning of the race, and he will pit again surely. P10 belongs to Kevin Balash. He was also in one of the collisions at the beginning of the race. He is on 8 lap old set of medium tires. He will pit again. Evil Kiwi probably will pit again because he is on 2 lap old set of medium tires. Jeff Kane, 3 laps old medium tires on his car, and Levy behind Jeff Kane because remember that Levy was ahead of the of the Haas driver after the pit stops. They will all pit. Zoran will also pit. Let's see what is going on at really way behind the well, I mean, way behind this pack, 7 seconds behind this pack. AOR Grzegorz, who is in 15th place right now on 11 lap old set of hard tires. Then JSR, who we still are seeing his AI car, Shad or Blue 24. Let's see if it's no Blue 24 is driving. So JSR and Selig, they are uh, the the AI cars, and the rest is still in this race. Right now, ARC Ripson, this is lap 14 out of 29, so almost halfway through this race already. ARC Ripson is still on his first set of hard tires. He's still going long into that race. Obi-Wan Kenobi, probably his stop is going to happen quicker than sooner than later. And as I said that, he is pitting right now. This is lap 14, but crucially, ARC Ripson is also pitting right now. And let's see, the Ferrari driver will put on medium tires. Now let's see what will Obi-Wan Kenobi do. Will he put hard tires? Yes, he is putting hard tires, and he is coming out ahead of ARC Ripson. I don't know what happened there, but Obi-Wan Kenobi has overtaken ARC Ripson, who has taken on mediums actually. So I don't know what happened there. No. I'm sorry for that mistake. My mistake. I'm constantly speaking for the last probably 20 to 30 minutes, so I'm starting to talk some really bad stuff. Maybe start to make. ARC Ripson is in P14 after his pit stop on a new set of medium tires, and he will probably go to the end of the race. So as we've said, 14 laps. This is the time that the medium tires can survive. Now, can Rocky nurse his tires and go till the end of the race? Let's see how it looks at the top of the standings, because we are just past the halfway point of the race. Lap 15 out of 29. The track has 5,303 meters long. So when we are in turn 16, we can definitely say that is past the halfway point of the lap and past halfway point of this race. So situation right now, Richie B is in P1, 7 tenths ahead of Rocky, who maybe will pit again, but maybe will stay on his tires and nurse them till the end of the race. For now, he has a better pace than Richie B. In P3, in a lonely P3, Schultes, yellow flag in turn 1, and it's a big collision. Shad, Kevin Balash, and Crucix. I don't know what happened there. I've just seen the end of that incident, and I think we should have safety car, because we have 3 cars completely stopped or parked on the racing line. Basically, Crucix has
Dropped there. It seems that my OBS has disconnected and
oh no.
cut out. Right.
Evil Kiwi has crashed.
Yeah.
Evil Kiwi has crashed.
And I think we are back live again after that.
Back live again. Let's see if we are back live again. If
I think we're back streaming, or kind of streaming again with the radio. If my OBS wants to keep this going, I think OBS is currently objecting this, but try and continue with the radio broadcast.
Okay, are you still with me? Okay, so we are back, as we've said, after some problems. Chad, sorry for hitting you in the beginning. So that's I'm looking at the group chat. Chad, Kevin Balaj is apologizing to Shad for hitting him at the beginning, but that's probably not the collision that we were talking about. That's of course the collision between Shad, Kevin Ballas, and Crucix. We have just started lap 18 of this race. Richie B on 8 lap old hard tires. He is surely going till the end of the race. He is 1.1 seconds ahead of Rocky in P2. who is on 8-lap-old medium tires, and we are still not sure if he will pit again. Meanwhile, ARC Ripson has overtaken Obi-Wan Kenobi. I'm sorry, I will go with the race classification later on because, well, ARC Ripson has overtaken Obi-Wan Kenobi into turn 3, and ARC Ripson is in P8 right now, ahead of the Toro Rosso driver. But coming back to the race classification, third place for Schultes on 7-lap-old hard tires. He will not pit again unless something really bad happens to him. It's a really lonely in on 7-lap-old medium tire, and we are still unsure if he will stay out or will he pit. In P5 at the moment, and Obi-Wan Kenobi just flies off the circuit in turn 12, but has stayed intact, has stayed in one piece and is still going in P10, but has just lost a lot of time. But coming back to the race classification, ARC Verstappen at on 18-lap-old set of hard tires. He is going on them since the start of the race. Meanwhile, Levy and Jeff Kane, they are fighting in turn 1. They have been fighting for the whole race long, and Levy has overtaken Jeff Kane. I'm sorry if I'm late for some of the overtaking maneuvers, but I think you can imagine that doing it only myself is really hard, and Levy has just hit Jeff Kane on the inside of turn 4. They were fighting because Levy has now driven away from Jeff Kane, who has been just caught by ARC Ripson. Meanwhile, Grzegorz is in the pit lane for the final time. He has put on a set of medium tires. Grzegorz is in a lone 14th place. But let's go back because ARC Ripson, he will overtake, well, try to overtake Jeff Kane, struggling on 9 laps old set of medium tires. Well, coming back to the race classification, I will come back to it later because ARC Ripson will try round the outside in turn 14 with the use of DRS, a little bit of contact, but Ripson is ahead. And, well, this little bit of contact was actually quite big because Zoran has overtaken Jeff Kane as well. And now ARC Ripson is in P7 and Zoran in P8. But coming back to the race classification really shortly, Levy is in P6 on 9-lap-old set of medium tires. He maybe will have to pit again. And in P7, ARC Ripson, 5-lap-old set of medium tires. He's going till the end. Zoran on 9-lap-old set of medium tires. He maybe will pit again. Jeff Kane in 9th place on a 10-lap-old set of medium tires. He maybe will have to pit again. Obi-Wan Kenobi is going till the end on a 5-lap-old set of hard tires, but he is in P10. JSR, he is an AI car in P11, so he won't be classified. Same with Selic in P12. 13th place belongs to AOR Grzegorz, who is on a new set of medium tires. He will go till the end of the race. And Blue 24 has put on a new set of soft tires to go till the end of the race. Let's go back to the top of the standings, to P1, because Richie B is fighting with Rocky. I am still unsure whether Rocky will stay out till the end of the race or will he pit. But right now he has a DRS wide open, just 4 tenths between him and Rocky, as we are starting lap 21 of this race, lap 21 out of 29. If you are, let's go back because right now Rocky tried an overtaking maneuver into turn 3 on Richie B, but it didn't happen. Meanwhile, ARC Verstappen has finally came into the pit lane after God knows how long time, and he has put on a new set of soft tires. He will try to go back. He will try to gain as much time as possible and gain as many places as possible. In P3, still is Schultes in a very, very lonely P3. Meanwhile, AOR Grzegorz has set the fastest lap time. And remember that if he is outside of the top 10 and gets the fastest lap, no one will get the point for the fastest lap because, well,
You can only score that point when you are in the top 10 and you have set the fastest lap. But on the contrary, ARC Volsteppen can go faster than uh, AOR Grzegorz, and maybe he will set the fastest lap and thus collect a single point for setting that fastest lap. Meanwhile, Rocky has lost some ground to Richie B. He is still within a second behind the Red Bull driver, but he couldn't use the DRS on that start-finish straight and on the straight going into turn 3. This is lap 22 out of 29. We are closing down rapidly on. We are just rapidly closing to the end of the race. It's just what 8 laps still to go. 8 times 1.8 times 1.5 minutes. So that should be around 12 to 13 minutes till the end of the race still, but it's still a long, long way to go. You still have to maintain your concentration on this track, on this really tricky track. Remember, this turns 12 and 13 chicane. This is the most tricky place of the circuit, I imagine. Meanwhile, Blue 24 goes with the fastest lap of 123 point 123.331, but Blue 24 is in P14, so still no one will get the fastest lap point right now. Meanwhile, let's see how it looks like in terms of any on-track fights. And well, the gaps right now are quite big, really, because Richie B 1.1 seconds ahead of Rocky. Rocky will not use the DRS obviously right now. Schultes is 2.6 seconds behind P2, and in P4 Nutzer in McLaren 6.4 seconds back behind Schultes. In P5 Levy in P 5.7 seconds behind Nutzer in P6 ARC Ripson 2.8 seconds behind Levy. In P7, Zoran 1.8 seconds behind ARC Ripson. In P8, Jeff Kane 1.5 seconds behind Zoran. In P9, Obi-Wan Kenobi 1.6 seconds behind Jeff Kane. And in P10, ARC Volsteppen right now 8.9 seconds behind Obi-Wan Kenobi, but Volsteppen will try to set the fastest lap time. In P11, AI car of JSR, so that really doesn't count. And well, 20 seconds behind the top 10 is AOR Grzegorz on a 4-lap-old set of medium tires. He will try to catch the pack. In P13, Blue 24 on the newish set of soft tires. He is some 7 seconds behind Grzegorz, and in P14, AI car Selic. AI car, of course, AI car, and that is the whole grid. Evil Kiwi, Shad, Kevin Balash, and Crucix have not finished the race, but still, it's lap 24 that has just started. Well, we are in turn 4 right now of this lap 24, so 6 laps. Well, not whole 6 laps. So maybe let's say 5.5 laps to go. As this race has sort of, but maybe it has, hopefully it has, or maybe not hopefully, but I'm starting to lose my words, but you can understand it. Hopefully, it's just radio-like broadcast. That's my first time doing something like that in these conditions. So apologies for that. Hopefully, the next race will be a lot better. But let's go back to what's going on the track. And I have a feeling that Rocky has hit the cliff on his medium tires. Right now, 2.3 seconds behind Richie B. And remember, just 2, maybe 3 laps ago, he was within the DRS zone behind Richie B. And Schultes right now 1.4 seconds behind that P2. So can the Williams driver take that P2? We will find out in just under 5 laps because we have started lap number 25. Into turn 3, Richie B goes, and he seems to have that under control. He seems to be the one who will win this race. And JSR, I mean, actually, not really JSR, but JSR's AI car has crashed, or maybe JSR has been just taken by, or maybe retaken, or maybe retaken his car. Maybe JSR has retaken his car. That's why he crashed in that turns 11 and 12 chicane. And this is the first casualty of that chicane in this race. Quite remarkable, I have to admit, because I thought that many more drivers will fall victims into that chicane. And well, Schultes has just right now closed down onto Schultes and has overtaken Rocky into turn 14 down the inside. A very easy overtaking maneuver. I thought that Rocky maybe has just let the Polish Williams driver past. I'm not sure, but Rocky seems to have hit the cliff on his tires. Right now, lap 26 has just started. Richie B, 3.5 seconds ahead of Schultes, is just 3 tenths ahead of Rocky. But is Rocky going to finish this race on these tires? Is Rocky going to try and overtake Schultes into that turn 3? Round the outside will go Rocky, down the inside will go Schultes, and Schultes still is in that P2 and Rocky in that P3, but he hasn't lost time right now. He's still those 3 tenths behind Schultes. Well, right now 4 tenths behind. And P4, quite a lonely P4 for Nutzer Nutzt. He is still, and oh my goodness me, Zoran has disconnected from this session, and he will not. My controller has died, but let's hope that it comes back to life. It has come back to life. But yeah, Zoran has disconnected from the session. He was in P7. It was on lap 26. I imagine he will have this race. This race. He will be classified in this race, I imagine that, but Jeff Kane will overtake this AI car with ease. Of course, Jeff Kane is in P7 right now, and let's wait if Obi-Wan Kenobi can overtake Zoran. Lap 27 has just started, but I can tell you that Rocky is still very much behind Schultes. Zoran has just returned to the lobby, but his AI car has decided to come back into the pit lane, and my controller has really died. Apologies for that. But Zoran has put on a used set of soft tires. His AI will drive out onto the track in P10. Has already Zoran retaken his car? No, he hasn't. So Grzegorz is now some 8 seconds behind a point scoring position. It's quite remarkable to think that he can finish this race. Lap 27 is coming to a close. Lap 27 out of 29. Richie B is going through turn 14 into turn 15, and soon he will start the penultimate lap of this really chaotic race, of this really chaotic live stream for us as well, for me, for Jens, who is probably still just listening because he can't see what's going on in the lobby. But hopefully, as we've said earlier, hopefully next week will be more normal. Meanwhile, Obi-Wan Kenobi is just 2 tenths of a second behind Jeff Kane, so they are still fighting for P7. DRS wide open in that Toro Rosso car, and Jeff Kane is changing his lines quite dramatically, maybe too much of it, and has held his place. But maybe Obi-Wan Kenobi will try another attack into turn 3. No, he hasn't. He will still have 1.5 laps to try, and Zoran, who has retaken his car, has spun out of turn 16, and AOR Grzegorz is now finally into a top 10 position. He will score 1 point in today's race, maybe 1 point, maybe 2. Let's see who has the fastest lap. This is the This is a very, very crucial thing. Blue 24 still has the fastest lap, so he has right now, of course, he would have that point, but he's out of the top 10. So I imagine that no one will score points for the fastest lap today. Richie B has now started the final lap, 2.5 seconds ahead of Schultes, who is another 3.5 seconds ahead of Rocky. In P4, Nutzernutz some 7 seconds behind the podium. Levy in P5 and ARC Ripson will try to overtake the Racing Point driver into turn 1. Where is Obi-Wan Kenobi? He has lost a lot of time to Jeff Kane, so I don't think he will overtake the Haas driver on this lap. And we have a yellow flag. And Rocky, what happened to Rocky? He has a flat tire. He has a puncture. I thought that these tires won't go to the end, and the Toro Rosso driver has picked up a puncture on the final lap of the race. He is now dropping in that race classification. So Richie B will win this race. Schultes will be in P2, but let's wait for the drivers on the medium tires, because it seems that 19 laps is the cliff for those tires. Jeff Kane will overtake Rocky with ease going into turn 9, and well, Rocky will probably lose another position to his teammate. Let's see. Let's wait. How many more positions will the Toro Rosso driver lose? Meanwhile, Richie B is going on to the final corner and on the final straight, and Richie B has won this race by 1.7 seconds ahead of Schultes. P3 for Nutzernutz, and ARC Ripson is still fighting with Levy for P4, and he has taken it on the final corner. Can you believe it? Nutzernutz, no, Ripson is on the podium because Nutzernutz has got 1 or 2 penalties. I think it's just 1 penalty, but it has been so crucial that he has lost his podium to ARC Ripson in P4 Levy, 2 tenths behind the podium. He must be furious that he lost that podium on the final corner. Jeff Kane in P6, Obi-Wan Kenobi in P7, ARC Volsteppen in P8, Rocky in P9 with that puncture, and AOR Grzegorz has just taken 1 point after finishing in the P10. Blue 24 will finish this race in P11. Let's just wait for him to cross the line. Zoran, oh my goodness me, Zoran has picked up a puncture on the final lap of the race. He will try to finish this race ahead of Selix AI Cup, but I don't think it will be really crucial, really important, because, well, it's out of the top 10. Wow. I don't know about you, but I'm really tired after this race. Probably you've just had the worst radio broadcast ever. But I hope that the next race it will be a lot better. I hope that next week we will have a normal live stream and without any issues. Let's just wait for the final race classification, and we will end the stream with that, aren't we, Jens?
Yep, I think we'll do that, but yeah, hopefully next week we'll be able to see a full race and a full qualifying without any problems. I would say it wasn't the worst radio commentary I've heard ever. I have heard worse, so you did a good job during these circumstances. But yeah, let's see the full race classifications.
Yeah, and it is Richie B in P1, in P2 Schultes, in P3 it is ARC Ripson, in P4 Levy, in P5 Nutzernutz, in P6 Jeff Kane, in 7th place Obi-Wan Kenobi, in P8 ARC Volsteppen, in P9 AOR Grzegorz, because Rocky has got, well, penalties. That's why Grzegorz is in P9 actually. In P10, in P10 Rocky, in P11 Blue 24, in P12 Selek, in P13 Zoran, JSR, Evil Kiwi, Shad, Kevin Balas, and Crucix have not finish this race. But let's see the pen, and we won't see the penalties because this race has, I mean, the the classification has just hidden, has just been removed. So that is the end of the first race of the season. It was a chaotic one with the stream out on the track. I have lost my voice for sure. Yeah. What else can I say? I hope that next week we will have a normal live stream as opposed to those radio broadcasts. I'm laughing. I'm sort of laughingly calling it the worst radio broadcast, but as you have said, it wasn't the worst, so I'm proud of that. And hopefully next weekend we will have a a lot better race. Uh, I think we can just end it right now.
Yep, we will see you next Sunday at the same time for hopefully a full race and a full qualifying. And until then, have a good one. Goodbye.
Yeah, just remember to maybe follow us, follow the AOR on Twitter, maybe follow us. I'm at Julio Massa, so if you want to, if you really want to follow us, you can do that, and we will come back, as we said, we will come back next week, and hopefully without any issues like this, and hopefully with a proper broadcast.
Yes, indeed. So we'll see you next week. And until then, goodbye.